Hello, how are you? You look beautiful.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Hope.
Hope?
Okotie. Yes.
Okotie. Where are you from?
From Nigeria.
Yeah, she's representing the Nigeria. All of it. From all to the...
So this could be bridal or a birthday.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So is this, are you a member or this is you just
I am
a
a
guest?
member.
You're a member?
Yes.
For how long?
Since inception, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. So it's been about 3 years. Or
3
so.
years
Yes.
since you guys started? Okay. What are you, how are you thinking? What are you feeling? How is it?
It's great. Are you a member?
No,
You're just a guest?
I'm just a guest.
Well, maybe you should just come in and, visit.
That's
and
what
see
I
we
heard.
do.
I heard a lot of that.
Yes.
And I
Where
think
are
I'm
you
going to do
from?
that. I'm from Togo.
Togo? Oh, okay.
I heard this.
French?
Yeah.
Ça va?
Ça va.
Yeah. So yes, just come and visit and then see what we do. It's all inclusive.
Okay. I
All
will.
African women, and it's just a beautiful space to be.
Yeah. I like it.
Thank
So
you.
I will join. I will come and visit,
Come and visit.
and then go from there
Come on a call, listen to what we do, and then go away.
and think about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
No pressure. None taken.
No
Okay.
pressure.
All right. I'll
right.
see you in there. I'm
See
looking
you in
forward to
there.
the performance. All right.
you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Same here.
The next lady in this program of ours is really an awesome lady. I've spoken to her many times. I did not know she has so much going on. I don't know how she does it all. She's attorney Hope Okotie. She's a mediator, stylist, wardrobe curator, and fashion designer from 3 generations of families in the rag trade, and CEO of Hognock, which is a clothing brand. You speak to folks and you're like, hi, and then you hear their bio and you're like, whoa, let me get down to doing some work. So, Attorney Hope, come and talk to us about fashion. Don't we love the drummers? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. Greetings from the motherland. My speech has been made for me. That presentation, do I need to say anything? They've done it all. All right, I'm going to do my best because I'm in short time. I bring you warm greetings from the motherland. Let's talk African fashion. African fashion has a rich and diverse history that's been shaped by various cultures and traditions. It is known for its vibrant colors, bold prints, and intricate designs. The one unifying factor is geography. From Guinea to Somalia, Tunisia, Namibia, and beyond, fashion in Africa is a performance art, a showcase for the work of traditional master artisans, and a spectator sport. Fashion is increasingly recognized as a significant component of the cultural, social, economic, and even political expression of contemporary life around the world. Let's go into a little bit of history. How did we get here? African fashion dates back to the early civilization of African people, who used natural materials derived from the environment to create clothing. The first forms of clothing was bark cloth, fur, skins, and hides. And the rest of the body was adorned with beautification marks and color pigments. The materials used to create traditional African clothing vary from region to region, depending on the climate, culture, and available resources of each area. Bark cloth was made by peeling bark from trees and then pounding it with a rock until it's thin and malleable. Small pieces would then be sewn together with hide. They also used raffia, which was sewn together separate pieces of bark cloth, as well as being used for grass skirts. Around the 15th century, shipping routes opened between Europe, Africa, and the East. Uncommon items like beads, shells, buttons arrived from far and wide. Africans coveted them and decorated cloths with them. Slide 5. We're going to talk about the Ankara, which is one of the most popular African fabrics. used in Africa, and particularly in the West Africa. It is a wax printed fabric that comes in various colors, patterns, and designs. Actually, this is Ankara, and this is from Ghana. So they come from all over. But how did we get here? The Ankara is synonymous with African fashion today. It found its way into Africa in the 19th century. During the Dutch colonization of Indonesia, the Dutch adopted this style of pattern making from the Indonesians and mechanized the process. They initially tried to sell it back to the Indonesians. That did not fly. They traded it to Africans who loved it. The trade continues to boom to this day. Women began to ask for specific designs, which became a form of secret communication among groups of people. Back in the 70s, my mom imported fabrics from Holland. I recall the Urhobo and Igbo tribes in Nigeria had names for certain prints. They have the red tomatoes, they have the jumping horse, and these cloths were conversational pieces. The Ankara distinguishes the different groups when worn at the legendary August meeting in eastern Nigeria. You know about the August meeting? We're going to talk about the kente cloth. One school of thought claims the kente cloth was brought to Ghana by King Osei of the Ashanti Empire during the 11th century. Another claims the cloth was produced as early as 1000 BC among the Akan and Ewe people of West Africa in modern-day Ghana and Togo. Yet another school of thought claims there was an Ashanti legend called the Spider Weaver. It tells how two young men were taught to weave kente cloth by a spider. If you want to know more of this, visit the Wake Forest University website. The Museum of Anthropology does a deep dive into this angle. But regardless of the origin, the kente was a separate cloth that symbolizes royalty and status. And it was worn by kings and queens and members of the royal family. Slide 9. Today, it is more widely used in fashion all over the world. Of special note, we see the kente cloth used in colleges and universities in the US today to celebrate academic achievement and to honor the African heritage. Okotie. We have seen, that's slide 10. Is a prestigious and indigenous hand-woven cloth of the Yoruba people of southwest of Nigeria. Historical sources claim cloth weaving was introduced into Yoruba land in the 15th century. Dyed strands of fabric were woven into strips of cloth, and then the cloths were sewn together to form larger pieces. Another popular cloth fabric is from Burkina Faso. It's called the Faso Dan Fanning, and it's made by the Marka people. The strips of cloth are woven to correspond to a proverb, so wearing the cloth always conveys a message. And then we have the Ethiopian cotton, which was imported into Ethiopia by Arabs in the 1st century. We have the Kuba raffia, the most important indigenous fibers used in the Central Africa, which includes Cameroon, Republic of Congo, and Democratic Republic of Congo. And then another fabric we have that's popular is called the basin of the Mali people and chitenge from the people of Zambia. And then finally we have the Madagascan silk, which was introduced to Madagascar from being colonized by Malaysian Polynesians. Now let's talk about those vibrant colors that you can see here today. Most African countries use some form of dyeing or other. The Yoruba of Nigeria and the Mandinka of Mali are recognized as experts in indigo dyeing. Enter the Adire fabric, which is a staple of southwestern Nigeria. Slide 13. Post-colonization brought a shift with African influence in world fashion. In 1967, Yves Saint Laurent had a spring-summer collection which was inspired by Africa. He created a series of delicate gowns using materials including wooden beads, raffia, straw, and golden thread. Today, African fashion is in the global spotlight. from runways to its use by celebrities in music, videos, and film. It is almost impossible to ignore. Burberry, Alexander McQueen, amongst others, are African-inspired in the shows. Slide 16. When influential people like Beyonce and Michelle Obama step out on the red carpet wearing African clothing, they turn heads and reinforce trends to follow. The industry has grown exponentially, and African designers are now showcasing their creativity in international runways. Social media has played a huge role in familiarizing the world with African fashion. With the explosion of Afrobeat and the African dancers in the videos, this inevitably causes the world to take note of what are they wearing in African fashion. The classic styles worn in general across the continent is the dashiki. Most of you will be very familiar with that shirt. It's worn mostly in West Africa, but it's spilled over to other regions of the continent. It was introduced into American culture in the 60s, where it became a symbol of African pride and cultural identity for African Americans. Then we have the bubu, which is worn all over Africa. It's sometimes adorned with intricate embroidery and beadwork, like one of the ladies who was here presented. It's a classic, stylish, and functional style worn by men and women. 19, the Iro and Buba, which one of the ladies proudly displayed, is a loose blouse and with a headscarf and wrapper, worn by the southwestern tribe of Nigeria. Slide 20 is called the Kenzu. It's a wide brim African traditional clothing worn by men in the African Great Lakes region. This includes Burundi, Congo, Ethiopia, Kenya, Malawi, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda. The shuka is a traditional garment worn by the Maasai people of Tanzania and Kenya. And then we also have another style of clothing called the Isid Waba, which is a popular dress amongst the Zulus of South Africa. South Africa in the house! It is usually made from genuine leather, which either could be cowhide or goat skin. And finally, 8, the George fabric. Interestingly, this originated from India. It's not indigenous to Africa, but you know how we do. We coveted it, we claimed it, it became ours. And it's very popular in the southeast and midwest of Nigeria. Now, we cannot talk about African fashion without talking about the crowning glory, the gele. Most of the images you would have seen, they have the hat they're wearing. It's called Mousseur in Senegal, Duku, Malawi in Ghana, Tuku in Botswana, Doek in South Africa and Namibia, and hijab in Morocco. And the men wear turbans in North Africa. Why is African fashion important? It is a form of cultural expression for Africans to celebrate their identities and express their creativity. It's also a vehicle for empowerment. It creates job opportunities for skilled artisans and designers, especially women who have been marginalized in the past. This positively affects poverty levels across the continent. African fashion is produced using sustainable practices such as hand weaving and dyeing. This promotes eco-friendly production methods and supports healthy local communities. In conclusion, I would like to see the hands that are spinning those looms benefit. There's still a lot of poverty in Africa. It would be good to see more equity in the supply chain. I would also like to see a better relationship with the earth, which is the source of the materials used for African fashion. The future is bright for African fashion, but only if they take hold of the narrative and get in front of the current boom. In order to avoid another tale of exploitation, designers must also learn to be business savvy putting the correct infrastructure in place for the manufacture and sale of their products. Recognition is not the end game. As consumers, rather than buying African-inspired fashion from Western brands, I urge you to patronize and buy from African brands. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Did we learn something? Did we learn